Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Davis. My name is Susan Coppock. I am a member of your board of trustees. My pronouns are she and her. And if this is your first time with us, whether online or here in the sanctuary, we are so glad that you're here. Let's take a moment and connect with our online community. Welcome, friends joining us online. Now, in the sanctuary, let's greet each other briefly, saving deeper conversations for coffee hour. Our lovely pianist this morning, Angelina, will welcome us back to our seats after visiting time. As you settle in, this is a reminder that our digital bulletin, boy, you are a talkative group this morning. Chatty. Good morning. You must be happy to see each other. That's a wonderful thing. Our digital bulletin contains all kinds of announcements for this week and for the coming weeks. And if you don't have access to it on a computer or a phone, please talk to somebody who would know the answer to how to get that. Your new UUCD board met yesterday for the first time for a day-long workshop. Many thanks to Scott and Jose, who are the executive team members, who planned and presented a day that was filled with respectful listening, great plans, ideas, and intentions, and constant reminders that we, the board, represent you, with love at the center. We are all looking forward to serving the congregation this year. Please feel free to approach us for questions, comments, and constructive criticism. Look for the red ribbons on our name badges. And if we can't answer your specific question, we'll point you in the direction of somebody who can. That was beautiful, thank you. Each week, we add our story to the rich tapestry of stories that have unfolded on this land. For thousands of years, this land has been the home of the Patwin people, including the Yochu Dihi Wintun nation today. The Patwin people have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. It has been cherished and protected as elders have instructed the young through generations. We are honored and grateful to be gathered here today on their traditional lands. Let us carry this awareness of connection into our time together.
Beloveds, I invite you to join in singing or chalice lighting. It is Here Together. It's the refrain from that song. to this place. We are here, here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. And now I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to sing our opening hymn, Circle Round for Freedom. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. One last time. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. You may be seated. We're going to end our time of joys and sorrows with the song There Is a Love from Sing Out Love. I invite you to remain seated. I invite you to sing if you know it. And I invite you to just allow the song to wash over you, if that works as well. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There in this love.
Good morning. When I think about what it means to have freedom, I think about growing up with an older sibling who has special needs. From a young age, I became aware of how easily people can be overlooked or treated differently when they don't fit what others see as normal. Watching those moments taught me that witnessing is more than simply seeing what is happening. It's choosing to not look away. It's choosing to see even when it may be hard to watch. And it's choosing to step up afterwards. But most of the time, people weren't trying to be mean. They just didn't know how to include someone who was different from the rest. It was difficult having to watch this because I knew there was so much more to my brother that no one else did. He loves making people laugh. He loves fashion. And most of all, he loves his family. But these experiences changed the way I view people around me. They taught me that being a witness isn't just noticing when something is happening. It's choosing whether you're going to ignore it. It's easy to look away when someone is sitting alone or actively being left out because it doesn't affect you directly. These moments are an opportunity for you to show others who you are as a person. Even something as simple as inviting someone into a conversation or showing an act of kindness can make a bigger difference than we realize. Because of this, I've started to think about what it means to be free in a different way. When we think about being free, we think of someone who has the right to make their own choices. But to me, freedom isn't always making your own choices. It's about feeling like you belong. When someone is constantly made to feel less than others, they aren't experiencing the same options you and I feel. Real independence isn't just about the opportunities we have for ourselves. It also means helping others have those same opportunities. When we choose to see people, include them, and stand beside them, we not only protect our own rights, but the rights of our community as well. Please rise, embody your spirit to sing hymn number 108, My Life Flows On, an Endless Song.
From
On the second and fourth Sundays of the month, we share our plate with a local organization that shares our values. This month, we are giving that honor to Trotter, and Debbie Schaup is here to tell us a little bit more about it.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Yeah. Thank you for having me back again. I brought my boot again. I'll tell you about the boot. My name is Debbie Schaup. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a mom and UUCD member who has enjoyed many years of teaching RE and OWL, which I loved. I'm here for part 2 of this month to tell you a little bit about Trotter. I have some new photos. I would like to take a moment to stop and thank the AV team who always makes the slides so easy and fluid, and that's a really nice part of every service. Right, very special. If this is your first time hearing about Trotter, I know we have a mixture here of people who have come to Trotter, people who have heard of Trotter, maybe are new to Trotter. It's a nearby nonprofit ranch that provides riding and therapy for children and adults with a special emphasis on at-risk youth in our local community. Trotter also rescues and rehabilitates horses and other animals and combines the needs of those animals and our riders in a very heartwarming place where I get to support people using my lifelong UU values and see them reflected back to me, which is very precious to me. One of my favorite ways to do that is in teaching, so we can go on to the next slide. Here are pictures of some of our students. What I like about these is you see some different ages of riders. You also see that our lessons are not necessarily in a saddle. So we can see a person working with a horse on the ground. We can see a person up in a saddle, and it's too small to see, I think, but she's got a little kitty cat that's pink and brown that all I could think was Neapolitan ice cream when I taught that lesson. And we have another therapy student who's on a horse, and she is hugging the horse. She did vaulting, which is kind of like standing up on the horse and doing gymnastics up there. And she is a young dancer and wrote on her own music vaulting routine. It was very, very, very beautiful. She worked on it for 6 months and performed it at the ranch. It was very special. Our next slide, these are some of our horses. Horses have play dates. I thought when my kid went to college I would be done with those, but apparently not. So there's a play date happening there. There's a baby horse who was born on Mother's Day a couple years ago. And then there's also a rescue horse there. She has 2 different colored eyes, super sweet, Frankie. And so that's a nice example of some rescues and different things happening. We also have on our next slide some other animals. So there's a couple things of animals working together. So we have Travis and a little pig there. So the pig goes and she rolls in the hay in the morning, and then she goes over to the horse. And the horse eats the hay off her back and scratches her back. So that is very cute. And then there's a chicken on top of a goat there. Sometimes the chickens get on the goats or even some horses. And then there is Onyx, who's a llama, and with one of our volunteers. And Onyx is she has her different moods, and she doesn't like to be captured if she gets loose, so she's in a bad mood. So there was a little girl who went to catch her, and so llamas do spit, by the way. And when they spit, it's a spray. And it's a very stinky spray. So this little girl got a raincoat and put it on, and you could see her leaving. So I thought that was really creative. So those are some of our animals at the ranch. Many of those almost all of those are rescues up there. So our next slide, what I thought we would, so each of those slides has a little boot on it. So I have a little table out there, and I thought I always like for the church to be involved with when we do one of these. So this year it's you can vote if you want the funds go to a scholarship for the lessons. I counted them all up the last time I was here. If you want the scholarship to be for shoes for some of the horses, or if you want it to be for the pigs and goats for a year, you can just drop a cookie into the boot that you want, and I will give the cookies to the horses. And I added this week, different than 2 weeks ago, on August 29th, I'm going to do a ranch tour. Oh, my text is still a little small there, sorry. So I have little slips of paper at my table if you want a reminder. So it's just going to be a ranch tour. You can come. If we have time, we'll groom a horse. Just go walk around the ranch. It's a very loving, welcoming, inclusive place. That's a big part of me with my values from here with the ranch. And the ranch is like that, so we kind of make a big emphasis to foster that. So there are little slips of paper, and if you want to come, you can just grab a piece of paper. I'll help you sign up. If you've already signed up for a general orientation and you want to switch, I can help you with that. That's fine. The ranch has once a month orientations. So I think that's about it. There's some contact information on the slide. Again, I have my little pieces of paper if you want to look us up or send me an email. So thank you very much for having us. I'm deeply, deeply grateful. I personally make sure that the funds are used well at the ranch. So you make a big, big difference to the ranch. So thank you very much.
There are several ways you can contribute to our offering. You can give via the UUCD website. You can give by texting UUCD offering to 73256. You can send a check. And those in the sanctuary with cash or checks are invited to place them in the basket. And we appreciate your generosity. Thank you. Please join me in blessing this offering. May the work of this organization create lasting impact in our community and our world. Thank you.
Good morning again. I think we lost our tablet. The tablet is here so that our folks on Zoom can be connected and we can talk to. Thank you. The tablet is here so that the folks on Zoom, I can look at the folks on Zoom and they can type things in the chat and I can see it, but I think we got disconnected. Thank you. Beloveds, please join me in a spirit of prayer. May the words we share this morning reach the places where we are wrestling, waiting and wondering what is being asked of us. May we have the courage to hear them. Amen. Thank you. Hi, Zoom folks, we're back. Okay. July 4, 2025. Outside the Prairie Land Immigration and Customs Enforcement Detention Facility in Alvarado, Texas, a group of people have gathered in solidarity with the people held inside. People waiting in detention, waiting for hearings, waiting to find out what would happen to their lives. A police officer was shot that night. In the sweep that followed, 9 people were charged. I want to tell you about one of them. Daniel Sanchez Estrada was not at the protest. He was a green card holder. After the arrests, his wife asked him to move some items from their home to another location. He moved a box. Inside the box were anti-fascist magazines and pamphlets, the kind of small photocopied publications activists have been producing for decades. Do you know how many years he received? 30 years. He received 30 years in federal prison. Do you know what the charge was? Providing material support to terrorists. A man who was not at a protest, who moved a box of magazines, is serving 30 years because of what was inside that box. The statute used to prosecute him was not written for this. It was written for connections to foreign terrorist organizations, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, organizations with international networks and mass casualty intentions. It is now being applied to a box of pamphlets. What is wrong is being named right, and what is right, dissent, publication, solidarity, is being named terrorism. That is a world we are living, preaching, listening, breathing in today. Freedom has always had a price, but it's never been distributed evenly, and neither has the bill. In 1776, this country declared its independence and named freedom as its founding ideal. The freedom was real, I guess you could say. Narrow, but real. It belonged to, formally in practice, to property-owning white men. Everyone else was told in ways formal and informal to wait or just don't even think about it. The Revolutionary War was costly. Lives were lost. But when it was over, Britain did not send a bill. There was no demand for reparations. No trade embargo was imposed as punishment for the audacity of revolt. The colonists pursued their freedom, won it, and the world moved on. Now let's go to Haiti. In 1804, enslaved people completed what no group of enslaved people had done before. They fought France and won. Devastating costs. The country was left in ruin, the population decimated, and France sent a bill. France demanded payment for its losses, for the people it had enslaved and the wealth those people had generated, payment for its own crime of enslavement. Haiti faced a global diplomatic and economic blockade, strangling the new nation's survival until 1825, when it agreed to pay France's bill. Pay or face an embargo. That was a choice. A 2025 report from the United Nations, drawing on a 2022 investigation by the New York Times, found that in 1914, over 3/4 of Haiti's national budget was still going to French banks. The debt was not settled until 1947, 143 years after independence. The payments amounted to the modern equivalent of roughly $560 million. And some economists estimate that money, had it remained in Haiti, been invested there, could have added more than $20 billion to the country's economy over time. America pursued its freedom. No bill, no embargo. Haiti pursued its freedom. They were charged for it and then charged again for generations. Freedom always has a price. Who pays it and what they are asked to pay has never been the same for everyone. Civil rights attorney and LGBTQI plus policy strategist Sam Ames said recently in a Side with Love training on risk assessment and collective action that the risk calculus is different today than it was 10 years ago. The Prairie Land case is what that looks like. There's a verse in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 16, in the Jewish interpretive tradition, used in the Jewish Publication Society translation, that is the standard in rabbinic scholarship. It reads, "You shall not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor." It is not a suggestion. It is not a hope for the kind of people we might someday become. In the Jewish legal tradition, this is a mitzvah, a commandment, a binding obligation. Do not stand idly by. Rabbi Dania Ruttenberg, a scholar and author who writes on Jewish ethics and law, places this verse within a larger web of obligations in the same chapter of Torah. That chapter surrounds what Rabbi Akiva, one of the most influential teachers in rabbinic history, called the great principle, the beating heart from which everything flows. Love your neighbor as yourself. Ruttenberg argues that loving your neighbor is not a feeling. It is a system of specific, concrete, non-negotiable acts. What would you want if you were hungry? What would you want if you couldn't make bail? What would you want if your rights were being stripped and you had nothing to protect you? Loving your neighbor means fighting to build the world you would want to live in if you had no power to protect yourself. Do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor is one piece of that. When someone is at risk, action is required. Not comfort, not sympathy, not a well-intentioned thought held privately or publicly. Action. Rabbi Akiva knew what that cost. He publicly endorsed the last major Jewish rebellion against Roman occupation. He declared its leader the Jewish Messiah. But what the Romans killed him for was not carrying a weapon, it was teaching Torah. The emperor had outlawed the teaching of Jewish law. Rabbi Akiva kept teaching anyway. He did what he had always done. He continued to be who he had always been. The empire executed him for it in 135 CE. He did not pick up a sword, picked up Torah, and the empire killed him for it. Daniel Sanchez Estrada moved a box of magazines. The empire does not always require violence to consider you dangerous. Sometimes it only requires that you exist. Full stop, really. Sometimes it requires that you teach or carry things and carry on in ways it has decided to forbid. Sam Ames is right. The risk calculus has changed, but the commandment has not. Some of you have heard me say this. I'm saying it again. I'm an immigrant, a green card holder, and I have chosen not to protest. I don't say that easily. I have been an activist most of my life. It's not just something I do, it is woven into my understanding of who I am, what I am for, why I get up in the morning. I love you guys, but my activism is why I get up in the morning. But there's a question I cannot stop asking. What happens between the time I am detained and the time I am released? What happens inside that gap to my body, my status, my mind, to my life? That unknown space keeps me up at night. And I have additional trauma in my life, so it makes it more possible to imagine how much more traumatic it could be. The Prairie Land case has made something that was already clear even clearer. Exercising a constitutionally protected right is no longer protection enough. So I have made a choice. The price I am paying is not silence, even though it feels like it. The price I am paying is a piece of who I thought I was. And some days I do feel like a fraud. But what I have tried to do instead is create space for those who can carry the risk I cannot, and to create pathways for those who cannot carry it at all. And I name this because I know some of you are sitting here with something similar, and I want you to know you are not alone. In this room, our risks are not equally distributed. Some of you have already paid for your convictions. So for some of you, the bill hasn't come due yet. Others of you face specific limits: immigration status, health, finances, age, other factors that make certain choices unavailable to you. The unevenness is part of what the present moment requires us to reckon with honestly. Defense attorney Sophia Khalid represented one of the Prairie Land defendants at sentencing. She observed afterward that a government which punishes non-violent critics 30 times more harshly than violent insurrectionists is not functioning as a democracy in any meaningful sense. She was comparing those 30 to 100-year sentences to the average sentence for January 6 defendants, 26 months. Give me goosebumps the way I'm upset. I have been sitting with that comparison. A presidential memorandum issued September 2025. If you have not read it, I don't know if I want to tell you to read it, but you should know what's happening in the world, so probably read it. I'm not encouraging you to drink, but if you do drink, have something with you. And if you don't, read it with a friend so that you can blow off some steam and then watch a comedy afterwards. Anybody else? Anybody has read it or pieces of it? Okay. Yeah. That memorandum changed the definition of domestic terrorism to include property damage and civil disorder committed by people with specific political beliefs, anti-fascist, anti-authoritarian, anti-traditional values. You are going to be on that list. We were on the list back in the McCarthy era. That's where we are. This is not my interpretation of that. This is the policy. It is the machinery that produced that 30-year sentence. The risk calculus has changed. we all need to reassess what we are willing and able to do. And we need to find ways to hold up those who can accept greater risk than we can. Supporting each other is not a lesser act of resistance. Right now, it may be the act this moment most requires. So I want to leave you with a question. One to carry over the course of this week. What is the price you are willing to pay for freedom? Not just yours, your neighbors. Look at the chalice. The flame in chalice. The symbol we light at the start of every service was born in Lisbon in 1941, at the turning point of World War II. The Unitarian Service Committee had opened an office there. Lisbon was the only open port in Europe. It was full of refugees, artists, intellectuals, dissidents, Jews, people fleeing the Nazis who had crossed borders or needed to, people who no longer had the papers to prove who they were or to go where they needed to go. The USC staff created travel documents to help them, documents the refugees needed, documents that could get people across borders and onto ships. And they needed a seal for those documents. So a Viennese artist and refugee designed it. The USC director at the time described it as symbolizing helpfulness and sacrifice. The symbol of our faith was born as a seal on documents created to protect persecuted people at personal and institutional risk. And now a man is serving 30 years for moving a box of documents. This tradition has always known that question. The chalice was lit in its service. What will you pay? This week, your bulletin will carry a link to a recording, the Side with Love training that I mentioned. I invite you to watch it before next Sunday, to sit with the risk assessment it contains. Not because it will tell you what to do, but because we have lit this flame. And lighting the flame means something. It means we know the question, and we have to sit with the question and the answer. Beloveds, do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. What will you pay? Amen. I invite you to now rise in body or in spirit to sing a really appropriate hymn, We Shall Overcome, as our closing hymn. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe. Overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe. We'll walk hand in hand someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, we shall live in peace someday. Beloveds, remain standing for our benediction. Go from this place carrying the question, what will I pay to build the world I would want to live in if I had no power to protect myself? Hold it through the week. The flame was born for helpfulness and sacrifice. You carry it now in your hearts. Go well. Amen. I invite you to join us to sing the Chalice Extinguishing, which is Here Together, but it's the ending part of Here Together. We have spent time together, and these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. One more time. We have spent time together, and these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. Please join us in the social hall for refreshments and fellowship. Thank you, beloveds.